Ireland and South Africa, folks. It's a close one, 19 points to 16. Ireland getting the job done. We'll go over some key events and stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how this one went. The dreaded kit clash, I don't think was too bad, actually. The Irish kit was kind of more black than anything else. I don't know what you guys thought, but I mean, there was a lot made about it before the game. Didn't think it was too bad. It wasn't kind of horrendous viewing. Sadly for Ireland, no Henshaw, late withdrawal in this game. And there was a lot of guys who went off injured, man. Conor Murray gets injured. Tadhg gets injured. McCloskey gets injured. The injury toll kind of worryingly high, but I guess two physical teams going against each other, sometimes that kind of thing just happens. Ireland get an early penalty with South Africa not rolling away at the breakdown, so 3 points to nil. Immediately muck up the restart, and I think both teams will look back at a fair few moments in this game and go, man, we could have done that a wee bit differently. South Africa, with that territory, have a chance to attack, like 17 phases of their own. A wee cross kick from Damian Bealham. Nothing doing, but because there's a tackle in the air and also an offside penalty. So South Africa decide to opt for a 3. Pretty much in front, so that evens up the scoreboard. So I guess kind of fair start to the game, both sides with their chances. I did think South Africa's defensive pressure was pretty relentless and maybe forcing Ireland, at least early on, into making not their most accurate passes. Sometimes a wee bit high, sometimes a wee bit low. Just that pass that just takes the edge off the attack, so not quite at 100%. But I mean, equally, Ireland, like Doris and McCloskey, putting in some big hits, winning turnovers. Especially after South Africa tried to tap it. So high intensity, but certainly defence is on top early, which is maybe what we expected, because we said in the preview, two teams that don't concede many clean breaks, don't concede that many points. So it does kind of make sense. Colby gets yellow carded. Him and Pieter-Steph with a big tackle on Mack Hansen ended up tipping him beyond the horizontal. So Colby cops a yellow card for that one, but it's a weird one where you're thinking it's an Irish chance, 15 on 14 for 10 minutes. They do have one from that penalty, one period where they try some long line-out move. Mapimpi just flies in, shuts the thing down, smashes Hugo Keenan, and for the rest of the yellow card, it's South Africa on top, eh? Weird intensity level from the South Africans picked up in Ireland again. We'll look back on that period and say, man, we were having to hold out, which is not the idea, man. Like Sexton concedes a penalty for a high one around the neck of Damien Dealende, and Ireland concede one at the breakdown. So it's South Africa going for a touch. Their maul is just held out. But again, they're not supposed to be just holding on Ireland, because they've got the extra man. Eventually, South Africa concede a penalty for sealing off. But yeah, the yellow card finishes no points. And South Africa maybe a bit gutted they couldn't score any points during that period. I mentioned earlier McCloskey goes off, so that's around 26 minutes. Jimmy O'Brien has to come on, his first ever test, so probably a little bit earlier than he expected, but he does all right. A bit of a heart in your mouth moment for Damian Bealham, who has a real mixed bag of a game, man. The guy can muck some stuff up. And he can also do some pretty magic stuff, can't he? But he gets charged down, so there's a foot race between Sheehan and Caelan. Sheehan is quick for a hooker. I had the South African commentary on my end, and they kind of sounded surprised by how quick that guy is. If you've watched him for any length of time, you know that's Dan Sheehan, man. He is quick. He is the one who gets his hand to the ball first, but he's kind of knocked it on anyway, so nothing real doing. Also, a weird call from then later on when Bealham goes to take the dropout. Was it a free kick? It's a free kick from a scrum, isn't it? And Andrew Porter kind of charges him down, and the ref's like, no. And then he just lets him charge him down, and Bealham avoids him, and then takes the kick for touch. But Bealham is kind of like, I would like to take that again. I was under pressure, maybe didn't get my best result from that kick, but the ref just goes on. I don't know, it's a weird one. I would have thought you let him take it again. But anyway, not huge distance on it. So, Ireland able to build a bunch of phases. Malherbe gets pinged for a no-arms tackle. And Ireland opt for a 3. So, kind of directly relates to that kick for touch, maybe. 6 points to 3. Tadhg goes off. Murray goes off. Like I mentioned, the injury count's pretty high. South Africa get a penalty before half-time. They opt for touch once again. Did I mention that there's a big missed kick earlier? I didn't, did I? Bealham had a real wonky shot at goal earlier, which maybe didn't give them the faith to opt for 3. at this time. But yeah, James Ryan helps disrupt the line out. And Furlong goes, well, he straps his ankle up and doesn't come on in the second half. So like I mentioned, injury toll getting pretty high. Ireland do give one away offside before halftime, and Colby takes that one. So 6 points apiece at halftime, all tied up. South Africa's edged the possession. The territory's pretty much even. Ireland have made a few more tackles, but South Africa have been missing a few. Their tackling's below 80% in that first half, which is very uncharacteristic. Clean breaks is 1 apiece, but defenders beaten is 18-9 to Ireland. That's what I'm talking about, the missed tackles from South Africa. Run meet is 108 to 116, so pretty even. I mentioned Bealham comes on for Furlong in that second half. You'd think in South Africa they're going to push him round at scrum time because Tadhg Furlong is a hard guy to replace, but they end up conceding a penalty, I think, for hinging the South Africans. So Ireland go like 11 phases. Jamison, Gibson-Park adding a bit of that zip that we like to see from the Irish attack. But then Creel smashes Johnny Sexton to shut things down. South Africa do give away an offside one. And big moment at the start of the second half where Ireland could opt for 3. Decide to go for touch. It's a big, brave call, man. In a test match, there's one where I think you go for 3, but no, they go for a maul. And it looks like it gets pushed into touch, But Van der Flier somehow grounds it. They check it for a wee while to make sure A, he's grounded it, and B, his feet are not out, and both are okay. So it's a good try. It is a misconversion, but 11 points to 6. And it's a quick fire double where Mack Hansen gets one. Loose ball from a South African ruck. That's one they would like to have back because it just pops out the back. And it's Caelan Doris, man, with the reaction time to pounce. The props get their hands on the ball. There's a weird moment where the props pass it to each other. Is it Porter to Bealham? It looks forward, but I'm not sure if it's just because Porter's getting hit backwards and Bealham is kind of, he catches it. You know, most people catch the ball with their hands in front of their body, whereas his is in the reverse. So maybe it's an optical illusion. I don't know, but it looked dodgy to your gut anyway. But I'm assuming they checked it in the background. But yeah, quick hands, and they were able to send over. Like Van der Flier's got his hands on it. Keenan to Hansen goes over. So pretty sweet try. 16-6. Ultimately, whether that pass was forward or not, you can't be popping the ball out the back of the ruck like that. So yeah, a little bit of a self-inflicted one, but credit to Doris for being Johnny on the spot. And then I think like South Africa with that try conceded. I mean, Sexton missed the conversion again, which given the scoreline could have been costly, but not. South Africa wake up a little bit. They start bringing on. They bring on Ox. They bring on Bongi. Later on, they bring on Faf and they bring on Willie Leroux. They need to do something. South Africa have their own chance on turnover ball, but Creel's pass to Khaleesi is forward. Ox immediately wins a scrum penalty when he comes on, which is pretty solid. But then like Tadhg Beirne with the maul defense, that guy. I'm usually thinking James Ryan with the maul defense, but this time it was Beirne. He was solid, and then South Africa have like their best attack. Finally, it's starting to get going. 63 minutes. Quacker Smith, who's also come on, adding some zip to the South African game. Him with the tap and go. Ox with the big passes. One of them later gets knocked on, but I never knew he had quite that passing game. Like Evans getting involved. Dion Faree's come on. He's winning a turnover pretty much immediately. But then from that breakdown penalty that Furey just won, Willemse misses touch. As I'm talking about David Willemse, sometimes I just shake my head, man. Come on. Your team needs you to be a key man in that moment. But I mean, the team kind of bail him out because they stay down Ireland's end. And after a few of them go close, like Faree goes close, Colby goes close, Mostert, the old go-go gadget arms manages to reach out and score. One of those ones where like you need to kind of claim it, man. Like he reaches out and dots it down, and usually they run around celebrating like, I don't know, like they won the lottery to try and sell it to make sure they check it. Mostert didn't look convinced. He just looked like any other day at the office, but it was sure enough a try. Very low-key, old Franco Mostert. So conversion hits the post, but it's 16 points to 11. Should say you got to give credit to Leroux, man. He's like in the build-up to that try. He's a key man. Like him stepping in at first or second receiver. He's key. He makes the South Africans backline click, doesn't he? 70 minutes, Willemse kicks it out on the full, so that kind of takes that momentum off the Irish, which had been building from South Africa. 72 minutes, the Irish get a shot at goal. 19 points to 11. That's an 8-point lead. Is it going to be enough? Well, maybe not, man, because South Africa get a try. And I will give credit to Bealham because he's the one who wins the restart. From that penalty, he wins the restart to get South Africa that field position. So he's a real, like, feast or famine kind of player. He's either making you shake your head or give him a round of applause. But some big carries. Eben to Aronsa finishes off the try to give us that grandstanding finish, 19 points to 16. But the crowd are getting behind their team, and Ireland for those last few minutes absolutely slow the game down. Eventually to the point where the ref's like, all right, I'm turning the clock off. Yeah, come on, guys, let's get playing. And then, yeah, they just are able to kick it out to see the game off. So, yeah, man, proper arm wrestle game. Pretty much what we expected from South Africa and Ireland. There's very little between these sides. Can't help but wonder if either side had kicked their goals a little bit better. Yeah, it could have been a different story. But anyway, run meters 255 to 322. South Africa edge it. They also edge the possession 54%, the territory 56%, but also more turnovers conceded 14 to 11. The tackling percentage is not as good as the Irish, 82% for the South Africans, 89% for the Irish, which is pretty class. Also, South Africa conceded 2 more penalties, 12 to 10. Van der Flier, and I love it that Matt Pierce, the South African commentator, pronounces Van der Flier's name like a South African would pronounce his name. I guess that kind of makes sense because Matt Pierce is African, but he calls him Fun der Flier, right? Instead of Van der Flier. Just adding to the myth that the guy is from South Africa, which he's not. I know he's not. 16 from 16 tackles from Van der Flier, man, top man, plus that try. 16 from 16 tackles from Big Eben as well. Involvements are huge. Bealham's are like 73 meters, 3 defenders beaten, but like 4 turnovers conceded, misses touch. Like, goodness gracious, out on the full. Mixed bag. Not Mr. Consistent. Hansen, 53 meters, 3 defenders beaten, plus his try. Not a bad shift. Ireland have got Australia at home next. South Africa are away to Italy. 9 minutes until I sit down and watch Australia and France play. So I'm going to head off. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. And yes, I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.